You've spent countless hours in the garage with your dad. Now investing in that old car and working on it with your son reminds you of him. And his legacy lives on. Fund your passion with a low-interest home equity line of credit from Bank of Blue Valley.
Don't be weird. Don't be weird. Don't be weird. Too late.
There's two.
Too late. You're weird. What's up, Scott? How are you?
Doing wonderful. I mean, not as cool as you are. I have my Bank of Blue Valley shirt on and Burns and Mac colors underneath, but your shirt looks pretty cool.
I have my Taylor Swift shirt on.
Yeah, I think I read my wife texted me, Travis Kelce is averaging 109 yards when Taylor Swift is watching. And without her watching, he's averaging 50 yards. So I think by you wearing that sweatshirt, we're going to have a 50% better show than when I bring you down, you know?
I also sat within viewing distance right underneath Taylor this weekend. So I feel like we're pretty much friends, best friends.
Oh, totes. Yeah, duh.
I actually did not own those seats. We were still we have really good seats, but in a different section. And one of my clients said, 2 open seats next to me right under Taylor. I don't know a bigger fan. Get over here. So
that's really cool. That's exciting. I mean, it's funny. I really want a former guest of the show is the Economic Development Council. I think you call him president, CEO, but Tim Cowden. I really feel like we need a little bit of an economic study of reflecting on what she's done to our economy. With this being a business show, we need to know that answer.
I have tea. I don't know if I should say this, but I figure since nobody in the organization told me this, I'm going to say this. If you are going to the Operation Breakthrough event tonight and you have an extra ticket, please take me because I believe that Taylor Swift is going to make an appearance there.
Wow, that's really cool. That's a great organization.
Supposedly they got a call and said they needed to up the security quite a bit. And Travis Kelce's supposed to be there. So you know what that means.
I know one of our panelists has a really cool, I feel like social media going on opportunity where people are posting about things going on, but I don't want to steal her thunder on what she's doing to promote awareness for what she's doing in the community. But, no one really comes on to hear us. They come on to hear the panelists. So, I don't know how much banter we want to do.
Well, we were just trying to see if anybody was excited and wanted to take me to Operation Breakthrough, but you acted like I didn't say that comment. So now we'll just move on. How's that sound?
I'm just all about transitioning because you drive the show and I'm sitting shotgun. You know what I mean?
Oh, Scott.
Should we get one of those cool cars where you're like the motorcycle and then I'm like the big guy that just like crawls in like the tiny seat and you just drive over everyone?
That'd be perfect.
Like Batman and Robin. Did you ever think you'd be Batman in this relationship?
Yes, 100%. Yes, 100%. Okay, listen, if you are watching on Facebook, LinkedIn, or YouTube, please let us know. We always like to say a ton of great networking. We're going to do at the end of this year, Scott, we have to do this. I'm promising you guys we're going to do this. So much business has happened from the comments in this show. We get stories, we get messages, we get all sorts of stuff all the time. We need to do like some sort of like case study that's not boring, like some sort of video about all the awesome business that has happened. So make sure you comment in the comments like Miss Elizabeth did. She says, greetings from Colorado Springs. Hey, Elizabeth, how are you?
It's a national show. No big deal.
Paul is watching on LinkedIn.
Yay, Paul.
So look what I did. I didn't put our background on.
We were just talking about someone else that popped in there.
And Harry says LinkedIn Live. So let us know where you're watching from and we will pull up your comment. And you could get a lot of followers, a lot of network, a lot of connections. People always say, I don't care about followers, but you know what? The more followers you have, the more people want to connect with you because they see other people connect with you, and you could meet the perfect people to do business with them.
Very true.
Right.
And speaking of Travis Kelce, he went from 1.8 million followers and he doubled it since he started dating Taylor Swift. So
yeah, his TikTok was actually under 1 million when he started. So it's been wild to watch, especially my industry, right? Where social is just becoming more important every day. Ben says LinkedIn Live, cloudy, rainy, KC.
we love rain. Pumps the numbers for the show.
Yeah, if it was nice out, you guys wouldn't be watching the live. You'd watch the replay. All right, let's do this. Nobody wants to talk to us. Let's play this cheesy song you like, and let's bring in our guests who are awesome. We have a really awesome panel today. All three of, at some point, I've considered friends. Not that we're not anymore. We just all got really, really busy, right? We all had a lot to happen in our lives. So I'm really excited to have everybody here. And these three together are going to be fire. So get ready. Unloading. All right, here we go. Our first guest today, you already know who she is. She's on absolutely everything. And I just saw right before we got on here, she was named one of the most important people in Missouri, top 100 people in Missouri, Courtney Thomas. This woman won every award you could win last year. And I don't even know if there's win any more sports awards out there to win, but if they are, they're coming her way with Blackmon. And last but certainly not least, he's done his own bit of damage throughout the safety. He's had his business in process. And here's to tell us. He's doing amazing things. Luke Wayne. Hi, guys. How are you?
What's up?
Doing good.
So
Good.
Trio. This is so organic. Nobody ever knows who else is going to be on with them. So this worked out really good today. So, Courtney, let's start with you. Who are you? What do you do? And how do you get to Kansas City?
All right. So I'm Courtney Thomas, and I am the president and CEO of Newhouse, which is Kansas City's first and oldest domestic violence shelter. We're an 88-bed emergency facility in the urban core, supporting individuals and families who are fleeing from home, where home is not safe. We've got an extraordinary team of therapists, case managers, legal team, advocates that help support people through their journey of healing. I also started my own consulting business. Actually, I launched it last year, publicly launched it about a month ago. So I do consulting, some strategic planning, team development, operational excellence work with for-profit and nonprofit organizations. And I'm a mom of three. I think that's my biggest and most important job for sure. So I have a 16-year-old son, a 14-year-old son, and a soon-to-be 10-year-old daughter. So they keep us super, super busy. But I've lost my accent. I am originally from North Carolina. I have now called Kansas City my home for 22 years and still love my hush puppies and barbecue and sweet tea from North Carolina, but love Kansas City, and the people here are what make it such a great place.
I love it. Go ahead, Scott. I can tell you want to ask something.
I gotta be careful because you always have a follow-up question. So I gotta be. So Courtney, you did Great Plains, Waveside Wave, Central Exchange, obviously Newhouse. What is the thing that you're doing right now to a lot of your followers are doing to shine light recently on social media? And then secondly, what was the aha moment of the consulting practice and how did it start?
Yeah, so we launched this amazing campaign for Domestic Violence Awareness Month in October. Our graphic designer, Mallory, came up with this genius idea. We partnered with a local company to get purple light bulbs and asked people to change out either an exterior light or internal light to shine a light on survivors and show that as a community, we stand beside those who've experienced violence in their lives. We had multiple organizations, businesses from the Kansas City Airport to the downtown Marriott, the Lowe's, A.L. Huber, Kansas City University, all lit up the sky with their purple lights to support survivors. And what many people don't know is that Missouri is ranked in the top 10 deadliest states for women to be killed by their abusers. 1 in 3 women and 1 in 4 men will experience some form of domestic violence in their lifetime. So for people who are really fortunate to say, that's not me, I haven't experienced violence in my life, it does mean that someone that you know and love has. And so that's a statistic that we are wanting to shift and change through our work at Newhouse. In the Kansas City metro alone, last year, more than 20,000 people were turned away or services. So those are people that made the call and said, I'm in danger, but there simply are not enough bed spaces or resources to support them.
20,000?
Over 20,000. And last year, that number was 12,565. So it has grown by 8,000, over 8,000 just in a 12-month cycle.
How does that relate to the pandemic? Because the worry in your industry was that people were not being able to be intersected to get the resources. And
right.
So what is that interesting that it jumped that much from last year?
Yeah, the pandemic really drove the numbers skyrocketed, actually. So in 2020, we saw a 30%, near 30, it was just under 30% increase in police being on the scene for domestic violence incidences. So that's not just calls, that's physical, showing up at people's homes who've experienced violence. That number has kind of leveled out a little bit in the last couple of years as people are starting to return back to work or back to their normal routine. But we still are seeing high lethality cases. And what that means is when people call our hotline, we ask them a series of questions. Are there weapons in the home? Are there children that don't belong to the abuser? Have you ever been strangled? So there's a series of questions that we ask that help us gauge the level of danger that a person is in. And that allows us to prioritize intakes, because the reality is we're full all the time. And our shelter is pretty unique in that we do not have a time limit for people's stay with us. We know that if you've experienced complex trauma, if you have no access to a vehicle or finances or other resources, that you can't possibly be ready to stand on your own 2 feet and be successful in that and positioned to thrive in 90 to 120 days. So our average stay at our shelter is about 7 months. We have specialized programs for children. We have the only early learning center in a Jackson County domestic violence shelter that provides free support for children 6 weeks to 5 years old in a trauma-informed classroom. And then we also have our school-aged program for kindergarten through high school students, helping to reverse the developmental impacts of trauma and helping provide the tools that adults and children need to conquer some of these experiences that they've had in their lives.
Okay, I have a question because I'm just obsessed with that number jumping so much. So do you think violence is getting worse, maybe because of the pandemic, because of the mental health crisis, and or because I guess it could be both, right? People now are more aware of resources out there to be able to call.
Yeah, I think honestly, Erin, it's a combination of those two things. So one of the things that I think the industry has been trying to do is normalize the conversation before, you think, especially like our parents' generation, for example, our grandparents' generation, what happens at home stays at home. And we're really trying to break down that barrier and help people understand that domestic violence doesn't just impact one socioeconomic class or one gender or one race or one education level. It impacts everybody. So I think that there's more conversation happening about it. I definitely think the pandemic and the stressors that people are continuing to experience are elevating and amplifying some of what we're seeing. The other important thing to point out is the way that shelters do business has also changed since the pandemic. So when I first started, I started at Newhouse in December of 2019, 75 days before the pandemic hit. And I remember COVID happening and thinking, this is going to last for 2 weeks, maybe 4 weeks. And then, 2.5 years later, here we are. But pre-pandemic, all the shelters have 4 bunk beds in the rooms. And so you, Erin, might show up as a single person and KeKe may show up as a single person. And we put you in a room together. That didn't ever feel very trauma-informed. To me, it didn't feel safe for a person that's just experienced something super scary. And when COVID happened and social distancing came into play, all of the shelters began housing one person or one family per room. And we've all kept that business model because it's better for the people that we serve.
Which means less beds, right?
But it's less beds. So pre-pandemic, there were only 342 beds in the Kansas City metro. So when you start housing single individuals, you can kind of slash that number in half. And, it's hard. You talk about compassion fatigue and being the person on the other end of the line when a person calls you in crisis. So I want to be sure that our listeners understand that even when the shelters are full, every agency is doing a phenomenal job to safety plan with people on the other end of the line, to give them tips, other resources and information to help them stay as safe as possible until they can find another avenue for housing.
Wow. Look, Haley says she has her purple light on in her office right now.
Yay. Haley was definitely one of our, we posted her on social media. So we had so many individuals and businesses light up the sky. And I tell you what that means to the people that call our shelter their temporary home, to go on social media, to see the news stories and see people wearing purple. It helps them to feel seen. It helps them to feel worthy. It helps them to have hope that their past doesn't necessarily define their future, because it doesn't. Like, their past doesn't define who they are or what they're capable of.
Love it. All right. Jeff also is dropping in today. We got a lot of people watching. Awesome, Courtney. Well, we're so excited you're here. You were on our very first show ever 3 years ago. And
Yeah.
Damn.
Yeah. Jennifer Dehan. I was trying to remember who it was. Me, Jennifer Dehan, and I can't remember the other person.
We have records of it somewhere, and it's still on YouTube. So I'll have to go back. There are four women on that one. I remember. Yeah. All right, KeKe, who are you? What are you doing? How do you get to Kansas City? Oh, ma'am, you're on mute. That was my bad.
Right.
You were getting feedback earlier. Sorry.
KeKe Blackmon and Courtney, I want to start off by saying phenomenal job that you're doing. And I got about 52 women that would love to come be bodyguards there for you. But KeKe Blackmon, Kansas City Glory, owner and head coach of that team. Very proud of how I am connected to Kansas City right now. Also, Olathe East High School. That's where I coach at right now. Go Hawks, 6-2. Getting ready to go the football practice as soon as I hop off here. But that's my story. Basically, I am here, a sports guru, love sports, always been in sports. It's been the guiding force in my life. And I just believe through sports, I get the chance not to be lazy, because I think being lazy is disrespectful to the people that I'm entrusted and to bring value to their lives. So that's me in a nutshell. Love. Thank you for having me.
That is not enough. First of all, can you please talk about the awards? First of all, if you don't know what the Kansas City Glory is, tell people what the Kansas City Glory is.
Kansas City Glory is a full women's tackle football team here in Kansas City. Travis Kelsey, you guys listening, we need your support. We are the women's football team here in Kansas City.
And then you said Olathe East, you're a women's football coach and basketball coach. You coach the men's football team and the women's basketball team, correct?
Correct. I'm the head JV football coach here at Olathe East High School, and I also coach the running backs on Friday nights, Thursday nights this week. And I also am the assistant women's varsity basketball coach here at Olathe East as well.
And correct me if I'm wrong, you were the first women's football high school coach in Kansas, correct?
I am the first African-American Black woman to coach here at Olathe East High School. Yes, ma'am.
Cool. And now can you tell us the awards you won last year? Because they were big deals.
Well, last year I won the leadership. 2 years ago, I won a leadership award. Thanks to Miss Erin giving me that recommendation for that leadership award here in Kansas City for WIN. I need to really point that out. They were a great blessing to me. Being nominated in that arena was absolutely amazing. And I'm also a gold medalist, 2013 gold medalist for Team USA. Went over with my sisters, brought that gold medal back home. That was our mission. That was our goal. And very, very proud of that.
And you won some award in the state of Kansas.
I went to the Senate and got an award there from one of my students here that I coached for a couple of years. His mom, Miss Cindy, she is the senator here in Kansas, and she invited myself and my wife out there, and we went out there and we enjoyed every minute of it.
I love it.
KeKe, what drives you to be excellent? Like, what gets you up every day to keep killing it?
What gets me up every day to keep killing it? First of all, God. I could do nothing without Him. He's everything to me. And looking down at the grass instead of up at the roots. Every day that I get up. I was in a horrific car accident in June. A couple years ago, they cut my iliac artery. I am just blessed to be here. I am blessed to be talking to you today. I am blessed to share my passion. My women's team, they keep me going. My young men, that I am happy to be in their lives and to guide them every single day. So I have many reasons, and I call them my whys. My whys are the reason why I get up, because that's what I start with. And as long as you start with that, my wife and my children, they are the big driving force in my life. And I'm a big friends kind of girl. I love my friends. I love on them, and I cherish them a lot.
How many children do you have?
5.
Woo!
I adopted 3 of my amazing children that I adopted, and I also am a bonus mom to 2 beautiful boys, Jordan and Kevin.
Busy.
I don't know how you keep all the people you mentor and guide in your life straight. That's just like a lot of names to remember.
The respect level, and I give them nicknames too, because that's a big task. If you don't give nicknames, it's hard to remember those original names, and those nicknames becomes more personable, and you can plug in, and as soon as you call them, they come running because they love it.
I do have a question that I actually don't know the answer to, but because we're in the same community, so for the audience, my children go to the school where KeKe coaches. And it's the biggest school in Kansas. It's a huge school. And in 2019, they had a school shooting. Were you there? And how did you handle that? Because I was standing outside for 5 hours, and I don't believe I handled it. I can't remember handling it, right? Like, it was very traumatizing. But B, being the adult in their lives afterwards, I know the trauma that my child and his friends went through, and they didn't see what happened, but just from being locked in that building and all of that, and knowing everyone involved. What sort of responsibility did that carry as an adult in that school afterwards?
I was not here. I was in Blue Springs, actually. And at the time, I was not working in the school like I am now. I immediately contacted my athletes that were here, and I just began to pour into them and tell them that as long as you're talking to me, you're safe. And as long as you are keeping the people around you informed and talking to them, just keep them safe, keep pouring positive vibes into them. I text a mile a minute, and my vehicle happened to be in the shop that day, or else I would have came straight over here. And Aaron, I believe I was texting you and trying to calm you down as well. But I just continued to pour into my kids. And now that I'm here, the biggest thing that I can show them or help them with is to practice safe habits and let them know that I am doing everything that I possibly can to keep them safe. And I will put my life on the line for them always. And they're never, never, ever out of it. And whenever they have a moment, or whenever they feel like they are unsafe, I'm here now. I'm here in the building.
Yeah, I couldn't imagine being one. We've got the school nurse lives right by us, and I know that it was heavy on you guys that were around the kids. So I appreciate that. As a mom from there, I appreciate that.
I would really just want to highlight all the heavy stuff, but man, oh man, 6-2. That's really amazing. I grew up right down the street, so it's a really, 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 really great record and a really, really tough conference. So that's amazing.
Yeah. Well, thank you. We work hard, and we don't go to practice just to practice. We go to practice to make some things happen. And Coach Porter, he's really turned the program around, and the young men are buying in. And as long as they're buying in, we're reaping the benefits on Thursday and Friday nights.
You know what's so cool about Olathe? So you guys know I moved there. A lot of our audience knows I moved there for the theater department, because theater department's next level. But it is the only school that I know of where the athletes also do the theater department. There's a lot of crossover with that too. And the school and the coaches and the and the teachers work really hard to make sure they get to do the fine arts and the sports. It's really pretty amazing, I think. Let me just brag on our school some more. Okay, you guys, I'm getting super university in my old age, super university, where I used to just think it was all done. And I think it's just so insane. KeKe, when you find out what Luke does for a living, your mind is just going to be blown. Between Courtney being here, Luke being here, and you being here, and the way your three worlds
popular people
together, it is just insane how much synergy this is here because it's university, right? Luke, who are you? What do you do? And how do you get to Kansas City? Oh, hold on. You're on mute too. I was getting a lot of feedback earlier. I'm off my game today. Sorry.
How about now? Can you hear me now? Awesome. Thanks for having me. I'm honored to be with these two amazing guests. You guys are doing amazing things in Kansas City, which is also why I love Kansas City. There's so many of us doing really cool things, and we truly do care about what's going on. So Luke Wade, I actually am the CEO and founder of Facility Ally, which is a software company that manages sports facilities, entertainment venues, and clubs such as Chicken and Pickle, Home Field, Hy-Vee Arena. People probably know me from KeKe Crew. I started KeKe Crew about 11 years ago. And KeKe Crew is essentially sports and events for adults looking to meet people and have fun in a social environment. We now have over 15,000 adults that play every year with us all over the city, from Kansas City, Missouri to Overland Park, Kansas. We're down on the riverfront, a little bit of everywhere. So I love to provide fun. Used to do it through KeKe Crew, and now I help other facilities do it with the software. I ended up in Kansas City because I got sent to Fort Riley, Kansas when I was 20 years old to go to Iraq. And when I came back, I ended up just staying here in Kansas City and love it. Calling it home. I'm from Southeast Missouri, and Kansas City is my favorite because it feels like a smaller town, or at least it used to until Taylor Swift started coming around and the Chiefs started winning. But it also has the big city vibe. It has all the things that you want to do. But it also has a really small town feel and all the great people. So love you both. Thanks for having me on. Really appreciate it.
Take us back to 11 years ago. You quit your job and you start your own company. But what was downtown like? Because whenever I come across you in a meeting and someone's young, I go, hey, that's the guy that made downtown cool. And I know there's a lot of people, but take us back to the origins of your company and what were the early success wins?
Yeah, so I actually didn't quit my job right away because I didn't even mean to start a business. KeKe Crew kind of started by accident. I actually was living downtown and working downtown. Like you said, this was in 2011. Power and Light was open. Sprint Center was not the T-Mobile Center yet. But everybody's talking about how cool downtown was for young professionals. But here I was, a 27-year-old, driving to Shawnee to play volleyball, driving to Blue Springs to play softball, and nobody was doing anything downtown. And so I essentially just rented the softball field at Penn Valley, which was close to my house, told some friends, and next thing you know, we had 1,000 people sign up. 3 years later, I was still leaving my day job every day at 5 and running the games every single night. So I actually didn't quit my job until 3 years later. And I always make the joke of I've been trying to figure out how to run a business ever since. But yeah, downtown was cool, but nobody was really doing anything. So, I, and along with KeKe Crew and some other of my amazing staff, just started throwing fun events. I like to say we were the reason the riverfront is as cool as it is today. 7 years ago, there was no one down there. We built 6 sand volleyball courts in partnership with Port Authority. And now there's a dog park bar, a stadium, women's stadium being built. There's a bar opening. There's a streetcar coming down there. So we've been a really big part of essentially, if you build it, they will come. So programming, fun, social event for adults and people just coming to enjoy and have a good time. And that's my favorite thing. Like my best networking on the planet outside of drinks with leaders is meeting people through social activities such as volleyball, kickball, cornhole, pickleball. We even have karaoke leagues. If you're not athletic, you like to sing, you can meet people in KeKe Crew.
Okay, tell me if I'm right or wrong. I might have made this up. You were in some sort of marketing role before you started your own company, right?
Half right. So I worked at VML as a web developer. So I got around the marketing and agency, but I was a web developer, software, kind of like programmer at the same time. I really learned all the marketing and stuff from great people like you, but also just grinding like you did, started my own business and tried to figure it out. And so I learned a lot from that side of things. But a lot of it from VML as well. I
still feel like you guys do really great, but I feel like I kind of knew who KeKe Crew was right away as soon as you really became an official business because you guys took early advantage of social media.
Oh yeah. We got in super early. And again, because my background was computer programming, I felt like back then you had to know computer programming to run a Facebook ad.
Yeah.
And so I was able to figure out Facebook ads really early on. That was the only way I spent money. The first like 5 or 6 years was on Facebook ads, and just figured out how to do it really well. And, that was where my demographic was, right? I was after the 24 to 30 or 35-year-olds looking to have fun, and they're all on social media. So I was able to get a lot of them to see us really in an inexpensive way through those ads. It's a little different now for sure, but it was great back then.
Okay, I have another question. Because we are good buddies, and we were all on a phone call. Scott was on the call, you were on the call, I was on the call the first week of the pandemic. And
Totally remember that. Wow.
And I remember the main two people that were like, you guys, this means no job for me, were you and Joel Goldberg, because yours was events and his was baseball, right? And you seem to really be like, where a few other people on the call that we won't mention were kind of Debbie Downers about it. You were like, I just got to figure out the next thing. And you pivoted. I hate that word. You pivoted so quickly and starting doing virtual events before I really saw anyone else do that. So how do you think that all came about? Like, you were just so ready to be on it.
I mean, I'm glad that you remember how confident and excited I was, because I was definitely terrified.
Oh my God,
you
were the only one 3 days before everything shut down. You're one of the only people that were like, no, it's not going to be okay. We're going to be laying off a ton of people, everyone in certain industries. So kudos to you for calling it, right? I know it's not a fun thing to call a downside, but you were ahead of everyone.
Yeah.
Well, yeah, and unfortunately, it was like Sunday happened. It was Sunday the shutdown. I remember I was here at Hy-Vee Arena running, like doing something, and the next day, we literally had to let everyone go because we had to refund all of our money we just collected for the next season, which was a lot of money, and I had no idea how we were going to make that back. And so it was literally me and my wife, who's she was an X-ray tech, quit her job and helped me run the company for a long time, and I actually was like, we got to do something virtual. Like, let's stick to what we're good at and just connect people, because people are still going to need fun in this downtime. And so my idea was like virtual hangman, because a lot of my friends like to get together and play hangman when we were drinking for some reason. And she was like, no, that's dumb, let's do bingo. And she nailed it. And so that was Monday. Friday we live streamed bingo, and at that time we were literally making them and PDFing them and emailing it to everybody, and we were charging $5 a person. A couple weeks later, I got a call from the Missouri Gaming Commission telling me that I was running an illegal online gambling operation, and I was like, oh God, didn't mean to do that. But what we found out was that companies could hire us to run bingo for their employees as long as we didn't charge the individual. And that was the start of how we made it through COVID. And we ended up, we were one of the first people to start doing bingo and trivia. We got to the point where if you searched anywhere in the country, our webpage came up first. We were hired by Apple, Google. Like, we did them all over the country. At one point, we had 7 or 18 employees in different colleges around the country running virtual bingos and trivias for us. And so that made it through the pandemic, and operated, helped us create a whole nother line of revenue for us. But it also, I still hear to this day of people being like, thank you so much for doing that during the pandemic. Like, I would tune in every week when you did bingo. I did trivia with my company. We also helped a lot of nonprofit raise money through the pandemic virtually. And so it also helped me. I became a virtual TV host for a short period of time, and it was a lot of fun engaging with people, while we were all shut down. But still can't believe that we got through that the way we did. And luckily, being positive and moving forward is the best way to do anything, similar to what KeKe was talking about. Like, we're here, we're going to keep moving forward. We're here to help. Let's go and let's do this.
And the other thing you did is you became a dad.
I did. I am nowhere near KeKe status on parenting, but I have a 2-year-old and a 3-month-old, and so it's been nonstop lately for sure, and I'm loving every second of it.
Well, at this rate, a 2-year-old and 3-month, you could catch up with KeKe pretty quickly.
If Katie's watching, she's like, "Shut up, Aaron! No way." I think we're done. So.
I told you guys this is an awesome trio today to have you guys all together. All right, we're going to move on to our Burns and McDonnell question of the day. I'm going to play it, and then Courtney, as soon as he's done asking, we'll have you answer.
Hi, my name's Eric Heidenreich. I'm an engineering recruiter with Burns and McDonnell, looking for the best talent every day. How do you want to be described at your retirement party?
Wow, such an intriguing question. I think I would want to be described as someone who has left a mark and created impact, that I've inspired and motivated people, that I've made a difference, that the work that I've done is been impactful and that I lived my life. I think that that's something that we forget to do so often, and we get so busy and all the things work, all the things with our children that we forget to take care of ourselves. And I think I want to leave a mark of showing people how to create magic and margin in their lives so that they can live their best lives.
When did that shift? I'm sure that was always part of your life, but when were you like, this is a non-negotiable? Was it 10 years ago, 20 years ago, 1 year ago?
Yeah, I will say, Scott, like it's something that I have shared with people for years and years. Like I have preached it, but I haven't lived it. And then 2021 happened to me, which was the worst year of my life. I had my cousin died in April. My grandmother who raised me died in April. Another dear friend took her life. Another friend died of ovarian cancer in 4 short months after being diagnosed. And then my husband was diagnosed with a rare and aggressive nasal cancer and given 6 months to live without effective treatment. So he had 3 surgeries in 3 weeks, 31 radiation treatments, and 2 high-dose chemo treatments. And we had to wait for 3 months to see if the treatment worked, have a scan again. And I think in that moment of experiencing those things, it hit me like a ton of bricks that, Courtney, you're giving the best of you to things that matter least, and your family is getting what's left of you. And I do not wish it upon anybody that they have a startling life experience like that to wake them up. But I know all too often that that's exactly what happens to us as humans. Like we think we can't stop. And one of the things that I hope I can help people see, realize, experience, and do is quitting. Like as overachievers, we're always focused on like, what's the next thing we can do? How can I do this better? And what I want to do is teach people how to quit something. How do I say no to something so that I can say yes to the things that matter most? Like, do I have enough margin in my life? If I said it earlier, it's interesting because the day before my husband was diagnosed, I did a session for my team. And Aaron, I think maybe you were at the Skill Path thing. I think it was maybe in 2017, 2018. I did a Harmony in the Hustle series. And I started off by saying, what if I told you that you were going to be diagnosed with a terminal illness today, or that someone you love would pass away by the end of the year? I had just done, this session with my team. And I said, would you feel confident you've given the best of you to the things that matter most? Or would you have regrets that you've given the best of you to the things that matter least? And the very next day, my husband was diagnosed. But I did that first talk in like 2017, 2018 at Skill Path. And then I did it with my team. And the whole purpose of the conversation is to help people build their life harmony wheel, help them define their personal mission statement. So that becomes a filter that they're running everything through. Like if I've said, this is my goal, but I'm thinking about or considering doing this thing, does it get me closer to my goal or farther from my goal? And it gives people permission to say no, because we are programmed and wired to always say yes, right? But quitting is not a bad thing. Quitting the things that don't bring you value or joy or get you closer to your goals is a very positive thing to do. So that's when it hit me, 2021. And I am trying to live it out. I took my first vacation last year that I didn't take my computer and never once opened my email.
Wow.
Yeah, no, I mean,
teach me how to do that.
Yeah.
All right, KeKe, how do you want to be remembered at your retirement party?
I want to be remembered that I showed up. I showed up for my friends. I showed up for my family. I showed up for my athletes. I showed up for that homeless man on the street and gave him that $3 Trinity offering. I want to be known that I gave the best of me, not the rest of me. I want to be known that I did everything that I could to bring value to people's lives and show them that they're loved, appreciated, and valued.
So, you talked about your why, and you have this amazing energy to show up for others. Is it the drive? Is it the structure? Kind of dive a little bit deeper, because it sounds like, from 5 a.m. to 10 p.m., you are with it, helping people be better. So maybe not the why, but do you have any things for the audience that's listening of maybe something they can learn from that you do really well?
Well, my wife, she taught me this, to give 90 seconds to things. And if you give more than 90 seconds to something, it's going to take over and it's going to consume you. So I have that 90-second rule that if it's not important, or if it's not going to take me to the next level, or if it's not going to enhance me in some way, shape, form, or fashion, or bring value to others, then I let it go. You have to sometimes let go. And I'm a true believer in that. You can't say yes to everything. And I've had to learn that. And so I think in my life, if I could tell anybody anything, don't sweat the small stuff, and everything is small.
Oh, I like that. Haley agreed with you guys to say no. Cool. All right, Luke, how do you want to be remembered at your retirement party?
Yeah, I think I want to be remembered as that's the guy I met my wife through, or my significant other, or my friends, or my best man, and I've already heard a lot of those stories. But essentially, I want to make people's lives better, and I truly believe that the more social you are, the more friends you have, the more people you're around that have the support, your back, be able to support you, the better your mental health and the better your life becomes. And so, if I can connect you through somebody else that you may have never known before, and improve your life through that, then that's my mission and that's my goal. I also don't want people to think it's going to stop when I retire. I'm definitely going to be coordinating the wheelchair races at the retirement home. I'm going to be I'm going to have a VIP recliner section. I'm going to have all the things. So it's not going to stop when I retire.
I'm going to send you my dating requirements. So I can be like, Luke introduced us. Okay.
Hey, I got an idea for that, but unfortunately, I haven't launched it yet. Hopefully, someday soon.
Yeah, I'll be the guinea pig. Just test me.
All right.
Luke, I'm 2 for 2 today, asking this question to 2 totally different people. I think this is going to be the easier one. But before you were 18 years old, what in your childhood do you think triggered you to want to connect to others?
Oh man, Scott, you just you almost brought up a really, almost made me tear up here a little bit. But my sister is actually disabled. She's been disabled from birth, and she's only a year and a half younger than I am. And so I grew up with her in a wheelchair, not being able to participate or do anything with really anyone. And so it's very difficult. She can't play games. She can't talk to anyone, and so it felt like she was always not included. And so I truly do believe that that's probably the main reason why I've done so much to include everyone that I can in everything. As I can't stand to see that happen to anyone. So that's probably where it comes from.
And all of your friends reflect that, and you surround yourself with really good company. You guys are one of the most inclusive group of people in Kansas City, and hence why you guys built everything you built. So congratulations. That's awesome. And
I'll tell
Aaron,
you
did you know that information? I didn't know that, Luke.
I didn't know that. And I did know that. And I think about that sometimes because our neighbor has cerebral palsy and he's nonverbal. And he has teenage brother and sister. And I'm always just in awe of how empathetic those teenagers are and how kind those teenagers are and how wonderful kids they've turned out to be. And I think a big part is because they've had to learn that, right? And they've often reminded me of my dealings with Luke. So yes, I did know that.
Yeah, and it comes full circle. I'm very blessed that, my second son actually has Down syndrome. And so the fact that I'm able to be here for him through his whole life to make sure he's included in everything that he can be is really exciting. And I can't wait to take that on.
Yeah, that's amazing. And what else is amazing, just to piggyback off of what Luke said, when Luke actually, introduced his second son on Facebook, I don't think I've ever seen a personal Facebook that wasn't on a company get more comments, likes, shares, and love saying, you are the perfect person for this, ever. Like, I was crying, and I didn't want to text Luke because I'm sure he got 1,000 texts, and I don't like being that person. But I was like sitting at my computer crying, being like, "Oh my God, he has to."
Well,
So
I
sweet.
appreciate that. And yes, we definitely got so much love and support. And it was actually, I almost didn't post it, and it took a while to fight through, all the feelings that you have when it happens, all the worries and, a lot of feelings that made me feel guilty about how I felt. But at the end of the day, I learned so much about Down syndrome and where it comes from and what it means through the process of happening to me. And so I looked at it as an opportunity to educate others. And so that was kind of what that post was meant to be, is like, yeah, this happened to me, but here's what it actually means. And it's not the end of the world. It's not the end of his life. There's just so much more that can be done. And so again, looking at it from a positive light rather than, looking at it negatively is always the solution.
I love it. Okay, guys, we got 15 minutes left. So everybody has like 3 to 4 minutes to answer this final question. So how are we almost to Halloween? How did this happen?
What are you going to be?
I know. I'm like, what is going on? How is 2023 shaped up of where y'all set your goals? And what are you looking forward to the most in 2024? Courtney, let's start with you.
Okay. So I'll answer it kind of twofold, one for Newhouse and then one for my consulting business. Earlier, I shared the statistic that we turn away more people in Kansas City who need support services for domestic violence than we have the ability to serve. And so Newhouse doesn't want to ignore that. We are in the process of building an intake center, which will add 40 new beds to our facility and making us the largest domestic violence shelter in Kansas City. We raised the money that we needed. It was $3.2 million is what we initially were looking at for the target. In about 7 months, we raised that money. And as you all know, construction costs have just absolutely skyrocketed. So now the project is just over $4 million, and we've got a little bit of a gap to fill in order to put the shovel in the dirt. We thought we were going to be starting construction in November. So from the perspective of solving problems and raising money, like we've done a great job, but to achieve our goals by the end of the year, we still have some money to raise. And I'll share this for anybody that lives in Missouri and pays Missouri taxes, Missouri state taxes. We have domestic violence tax credits, so of 70%. So if let's say you give $1,000 to Newhouse, you owe, let's say $2,000 in Missouri state taxes, you get to shave $700 off of your tax liability to the state of Missouri. So it's a super big win for individuals, for companies, and I want to make sure the community knows about it because it's a great way to help you in your personal life goals and help give someone else the literal gift of life by having a space and being able to say, yes, we can help and serve you. So our team has done a phenomenal job. We have our fundraiser, our gala, November 18th. We only have 3 tables left. So with 1,300 people in a packed ballroom, the Lowe's Hotel, November 18th. Last year, we raised just under $1 million, which was up from $522,000 the year bore. Wow. So our team is just rocking it. This year, we hope to hit $1 million. And then on the consulting front, I would say I've had the privilege to do some great projects with organizations like Spencer Fane, University Health, Clarivate in the last month or so. And I want organizations to realize that investing in their people, investing in their teams is the best investment that they can make. So if there's anything that I can do to support that team growth or strategic planning, Thrive 360 is the name of my consulting business. Thank you, Aaron, and your team for helping to get my website built and walking me through that process. Woo-hoo. So thanks, Elaine.
She came to us with some wonderful branding that she actually did herself, I think, right?
What's that?
Your branding, you actually did yourself, right?
Some of it, you guys helped clean it up, and we just determined the color palette and all of that stuff together. So your team was
when you came. My team did do good. I will say that, but it's gorgeous. You always have a good eye for design as well.
Oh yeah, you're right. I did make up my own logo on Kent. You're right. I did do that, and then your team helped me to make it better.
Quicker, I want to spend more time on consulting business, but is it next year you have that tax credit as well?
Yeah, it's every year. So here,
every year. So you get
no, you give this year, you get the tax credit this year. You give next year, you get the tax credit next year too. So
I want you to give this year so they can get that in the dirt, that shovel in the dirt.
shovel in the dirt. Yeah, but you get your tax credit. You get the tax credit for the year you give, Scott. So if you gave a gift today, you get it for 2023 taxes.
I didn't know if it ended, but I didn't. But yeah, you give $1,000 and 700 can be written off.
Yep. And here's the other thing.
Anyone doing corporate taxes right now for corporations, that's a game changer.
And up to $100,000. So it's $100 up to $100,000, and you get to write off the 70% Missouri tax.
Uncle Sam's going to take it, or you can donate it. So hopefully the CPAs are listening.
There you go.
Donate.
Okay. All right. KeKe, I think I was trying to unmute you. I think you muted yourself. How's 2023 shaped out for you, and what are you looking forward to in 2024?
2023 has been everything that I expected to be and some. 2024, that's a big number for me. I love the number 24 because God only gives us 24 hours a day for a reason. And I love that number. So 24 coming for us, especially for the glory. We're just trying to be the best football team in the country. We want to get out there. I want to recruit. We've been recruiting like crazy. We've been getting great athletes here. I had a young lady that run a 4.740. And when I say that, fast. And we have tryouts November 4th. And just getting back in the game, getting my team together. 2024 is going to be a huge year for us. We want to win and learn. Less learning, more winning this year. And I'm excited. I'm excited about everything that's getting ready to come.
Is the current, all the focus on the current, is that helping you guys at all with the women's sports focus, or is it just kind of on its own thing?
Anytime you're getting input on women's sports, it's always helping us. Okay. I'm a firm believer in when one team is getting looked, it's in the back of people's minds. It's in the forefront of people's minds, and they are wanting more. When they see the current, they also think about football in general, even though it's a different kind of football. But they're excited about other sports and getting next to other sports as well.
Cool. I actually went to the Chiefs game with Lisa Golden the other day. She was not as excited about Taylor as I was. She was more focused on the game. I was focused on Taylor. It's a very weird dichotomy. So
how fitting of Lisa.
Lisa works for the current, but she also works with the glory. So there's that crossover there too. So awesome. All right, Luke, how about you? How's 2023 shaped up, and what's 2024 looking like?
Yeah, 2023 shaped up amazing. I can't believe we're recapping the year already. It's crazy. But yeah, so my biggest thing for me was, I've been with KeKe Crew for a long time. I've been building Facility Ally for a couple of years, and I got an investment last year. So this year has been all about growth and building that company. And, it's going really well. I've learned a lot. There's always the struggles of the ups and downs, but it's also been amazing for me to be able to step away of the day-to-day of KeKe Crew since, that's the big business, 11 years old. Now I have an amazing team there that's running it day-to-day, and I spend less than an hour a week really on KeKe Crew, which has been really cool for me to see them succeed and win and continue to grow without me. Next year is much of the same, continue to grow Facility Ally, launch in different markets. And then, really had our second son this year. So looking at growing those two little young guys into great human beings, and excited to keep doing that through next year.
So what are the big opportunities for Facility Ally for the audience to be thinking of how they can support Kansas City and opportunities that are cool for your company to help with?
Yeah, similar to how most people probably didn't think KeKe Crew could be a business of running a business of softball leagues, kickball leagues for adults. Like I never would have thought that. So much other people can't really believe it either. It's the same with the software. We are the software is the engine behind booking your courts at Chicken and Pickle, behind booking your courts at Hy-Vee Arena. We are the engine that helps run these sports facilities, entertainment venues, and clubs that allow you to schedule, build lead, take payments, waivers, all those sort of things. And so right now we're focusing on the sports facilities, facilities. The new pickleball places are like crazy. As we grow and build more feature sets, we're going to be able to go out there and go for parks and rec departments and things like that. But the bottom line is most of these facilities use between 4 and 6 different softwares to run their facility for reservations, camps, clinics, memberships, leagues, and more. And so we are essentially that one-stop shop, bring it all together in one solution that works together, talks to each other, and allows you to offer benefits to your members in one place. And so, yeah, if you know somebody that's opening a pickleball facility, a sand volleyball bar, a volleyball complex, a basketball concept, let us know, and we'd love to help them essentially automate that with our software. But also, given the fact that I've been doing this for 11 years and I've worked with over 50 facilities, I also consult and help facilities know how to offer the best experiences, how to manage, how to plan, how to price. So we do consulting on that as well.
Wow. Okay, well, this was an awesome panel. Was I not right? The other thing that KeKe, I forgot to point out is you're a huge, huge Kobe Bryant fan, and 24 was one of his numbers as well. So that's probably one of the things you just didn't say, but I'm sure that's in the back of your mind.
Absolutely. My all-time favorite person, his mentality was bar none. And I am a super Laker Kobe Bryant fan. If anybody rides up on a horse and tell you.
I'm going to bring it full circle.
November 18th is my birthday, and it's not only a big day, but you're holding a big event on that day. And a couple years ago, I had a big Laker party that Aaron came to, and it was Laker themed. So yeah, I'm a huge Kobe fan. And
just to bring it full circle, Taylor Swift gives a hat at every one of her concerts, and she gave it to Kobe's daughter at the LA concert. Mm-hmm. Also credit that, like I did at Luke's Facebook post. Okay. All right, guys. Make sure, first of all, thank you so much to our panel. Go make sure they are all tagged on this on LinkedIn. Go make sure you follow all of them. I believe they're all over everything. You guys are on everything. Instagram, Facebook, YouTube. You guys are on everything. Go follow them. Thank you so much to our sponsors, Burns and McDonnell and Vacant Blue Valley. Thank you, Scott, for being the best co-host ever and letting me be in charge like I like to do. And we'll see you same time, same place next week on Halloween. Make sure you wear your costumes. All right, guys. See ya. Bye.